Now that we are done with the first segment of awards, it's now time for a little bit of panel discussion. Those of you who are here to hear some valuable insights from these industry veterans, now is the time. तो कुर्सियों की पेटी बांध के रखिएगा. Now, the panel discussion is for the topic, and the topic is very interesting. Brands with purpose, that is building influence beyond the campaign. Since all of you revolve around this topic in your day-to-day routines, via your work, I think this will be very interesting and handy for all of you. To moderate the session now, I would like to invite on stage Aradhika S. Mehta, Chief Strategy Officer, Brand Architects. Are you around? Oh, superb. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Aradhika S. Mehta. Aradhika Srivastav Mehta is a seasoned marketeer and dynamic business transformation leader with over 2 decades of experience, ladies and gentlemen, across lifestyle brands from fashion to clothing to beauty and personal care. Aradhika has held senior roles at Lenskart.com, Aditya Birla Group, The Body Shop, Nike, steering these brands to leadership as well. So, having managed marketing deliverables across a diverse portfolio, I'm sure she is not just going to moderate this session, but also ensure that all of you have a great time while asking those questions to the panel. Now, let me take a moment while they are setting up to introduce the panel to you as well. Our first speaker in this panel is Vivek Satya Mitram, CEO, Semicolons. Sir, are you around? All right, superb. So Vivek sir is here, brand strategist, corporate communication leader. He's a seasoned brand strategist and serial entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience, ladies and gentlemen. So when I say veteran, I mean all of them are really veterans of their industries. In strategy communication, media leadership, brand building. He has a strong track record of scaling startups, driving brand growth, and of course, steering communications. Not just that, joining the panel will also be now once again our awardee Mihir Bagga, Market Lead India, UNiDAYS. Mihir Bagga is a senior marketing and partnership leader with 13 plus years of experience across UNiDAYS, JioSaavn, Paytm, HCL, and of course as Market Lead for India at UNiDAYS, he built and scaled the country's first verified student affinity ecosystem, enabling brands to engage Gen Zs through measurable performance-led programs. Joining this panel will be Vikram Singh, Head Digital Marketing ITC Hotels. Vikram Singh is a strategic digital marketing leader with over 18 years of experience driving brand growth, digital transformation, and customer engagement across leading global organization. At ITC Hotels, he leads digital strategy and innovation. And joining them will be Prince Khanna, founder and CEO, LV Media. Prince Khanna is the founder and CEO of LV Media and the creator of Creator Tag, a MarTech platform enabling end-to-end brand creator collaboration, a pioneer in India's influencer marketing ecosystem. He brings over a decade of experience delivering data-driven high-impact creator campaigns across India, GCC, and Southeast Asia. So, well, clearly we have a very, very interesting panel, and I hope all of you guys enjoy. Let's bring them on stage, ladies and gentlemen. Can I have all of you on stage? Once again, Prince Khanna, Vikram Singh, Mihir Bagga, and Vivek Satya Mitram with our moderator, Aradhika S. Mehta. All right, I think we are set. Are we? Ladies, gentlemen, are you ready? Yes? Are we ready? Ma'am, sir? Yes? Over to you, ma'am. Hi everyone, good evening. How are we doing today?
Hello? Yes. So, I think after all that celebration for your awards, and I think it's not a very large audience. Therefore, we'll take the scheme of things forward, and this evening we have a very relevant, I mean, it's as relevant as the sun, moon, and the stars today. Purpose, brand purpose, purpose driving brands beyond campaigns. That is loosely the topic that we're going to be speaking about. I have a very eminent panel here um, and I have known some of them for some time. So I would actually throw the ball around and check with you if you guys want to add something to introduce yourself. A fun introduction would also add to the what should I say, the dialogue that we're having today. Vivek, would you like to say something funny or fun? I know I could have called you only.
So this is a very tricky question for me. The funny part of it, I have been very serious person all my life since my childhood, and I landed up in a serious profession that was journalism. So I was in media. So funny part, I don't know, but yes, probably I'm the one in this entire panel who is not coming from entirely marketing and branding background. I'm coming from journalism background. I transitioned to become a brand consultant, and parallelly I started multiple startups. So I'm going to be less industry jargon person here and more experience driven insights which I have learned through my journey. So
So you're going to be taking the marketing or whatever, the journalism guru this thing. I have absolutely vacated that, so you can take that with ease. Anybody else wanting to add some interesting nuance to their introduction? I think that would be a good note to begin with. Prince, would you like to? Or Mihir? Okay,
I
Vivek.
think I'll just say it on
Sorry,
behalf of
Vikram.
Prince and myself. Both of us are also hardcore bikers, so probably that is something that was not covered in the intro.
This seemed this cool. I think this purpose is entirely your own. I definitely do not endorse it for this audience because I don't want them riding away anywhere until this panel discussion is over. So, guys, you're sitting firm and stable on your seats as long as I am here. Anything you want to add, Mihir? Now that you have an award to your belt as well, what are we getting as a celebratory thing?
I just got my wisdom tooth extracted a couple of days back, so I'm actually not eating anything.
So the takeaway here is when wisdom is removed, that's when you win the awards. Are you telling that
Exactly.
for all marketers?
Yeah.
Oh my lord! I don't think that was a takeaway that I would want to, bring to this panel. However, an interesting thing that I would like to tell about myself and a lot of people, because one of the first times I sort of started speaking, on panels or forums, etc., and I once shared that I come from a very obscure town or what should I say, district in India, and I would love to see if anybody can guess it. For the longest, it was absolutely obscure, unknown, until a filmmaker called Anurag Kashyap decided to make an OTT series on it. Any guesses? Where am I from? Prince, you were saying you are a novice. Come on. Okay, yes, I'm from Mirzapur. And at the end of the panel, actually, there was an interesting thing. Somebody said that मिर्ज़ापुर में ऐसे भी लोग होते हैं, ये तो हमें पता ही नहीं था. So I said, exactly. So Mirzapur and Jaunpur combine here today on a panel. On that note, we will begin.
Aradhika, I'm a bit afraid. I hope you don't have a gun if I don't answer the question.
See, this is what I want to say. See, before the panel, I will not dispel any of the things that Anurag has shared. By the way, all of them are lies. किसी के पास कोई बंदूक नहीं है, किसी के पास, I mean, we are not just some goons hanging out there. The carpet trade is a very small part of Mirzapur. It does have the dubious recognition or the dubious fame of being one of the most backward parts of the country. So the most backward part of Uttar Pradesh, the most populous state of the country, and the most backward part of Bihar, the sandwich of that is the beauty of the most backward part of this country called Mirzapur, where I'm from. But then I went to fashion school, and the rest, as they say, is history. Getting on to a panel, and the first question that I think I'm going to throw at you, Vivek, is going to be around purpose beyond profit. What does it really mean? It is 2026. We've been talking, and almost all of us are kind of guilty as charged that not much has happened, so what do you think is the real perspective in 2026? Is it just about that narrow perspective of CSR and some social good, or do we have something new happening? Oh, sorry. So sorry.
So, it's okay, it's okay. So now, before I answer your query, I would land to the funny part of what you asked earlier. She is from Mirzapur, which is actually posed as a very goon land and all that, which it is not. But I am from Gazipur, which is actually a mafia land. So ideally, the series should be made in the name of Gazipur, not Mirzapur. So, coming to the very relevant question you posed, Aradhika, I think, I'll go back to the journalism days, like when we started career 20, 23 years ago. The CSR used to be a very, casual thing for media. You know, सब कुछ कर लिया, profit दिखा दिया, growth दिखा दिया. तो business news used to be the core of media coverage and stories. And CSR was ठीक है, आ गया तो कर दो, कहीं last bulletin में डाल दो, कहीं last page पे डाल दो. And it was like, for at least when I started career, next 10, 15 years. But in last one decade, it has changed. After some public policies that were made, and then the startup evolution. How I look at it, now CSR is at the core. What we call CSR, the purpose, how brand wants to associate themselves with their audience or their consumers, it has come to the core of the business now. It is no more just a CSR activity. When you say, we want to, maybe for a company like Fab India, if they say ki we want to, take care of artisans involved in the processing of the whatever the goods we are sourcing from them, it has come to the core because the audience, the consumer has gone very aware, and you are constantly on scrutiny for everything that you're doing. So it's no more that the business decisions are taken in a boardroom and then it is coming to a very small segment of, say, media people or journalists and they are writing about it or some stories are coming. It is constantly 24/7 monitored. So how are you behaving in a corporate sector or an entity is taking business decision, it is monitored. So I would say now purpose has come in the core. It is no more side business for businesses. So that change I see and it is going to stay for long.
So while I agree with the fact that, yeah, there is much more consciousness or much more, what should I say, focus on, say, purpose, I am unconvinced that it has come to the core of everything because I do not see enough examples or evidence
That's
of
true.
it. So while you're saying, and I think if it's happening, it's a very happy incidence, and I'd love to know more about it. But anybody would like to add something to it? Then yeah.
I kind of agree with what you're saying, Radhika, because there are a lot of brands who, and if you go back 10 years back, CSR used to be more like a tick mark activity. That you have to do it because of certain reasons, and there's certain commitments that you have to make when you're an organization of a big scale. But of late, there are changes which are happening. There are brands who are becoming more conscious, but yeah, it's still not at a scale when you can say it has completely evolved. But until the brands are truly understanding the purpose of what they're doing, why they're doing it, until then CSR will still remain a very small part of the overall brand ecosystem, I think.
So I think, Vikram, when you say I still can possibly agree to it because you come from a brand which has a heritage of investing in social good, but however, so this is ITC, but I also point out to the fact that there is the cigarettes business. So the core of the business is actually not the most social good. So is it because you're trying to compensate for what you do there, that which is how most of the times it is, that you compensate कि एक गलत काम करके तीन चार अच्छे काम कर लिए तो चलो
Wonderful
यार
question.
पाप तो धो दिए हमने अपने
Great
थोड़े.
question and good from a controversy standpoint also.
It always helps.
But let me begin
It
by
keeps
saying,
everyone awake.
yeah, let me begin by saying that now ITC Hotels is a demerged company than ITC Limited.
ये सब करने से ऊपर
So,
ऊपर से कुछ होता नहीं
so
है.
we are not a part of ITC Limited as such, but yeah, I mean, not from that lens, but yeah, I mean, of course, ITC Limited, they have their core business as cigarettes, and then there are a lot of other diversified business that they have also started in the last 45 years. ITC Hotels, if I just talk about hotels as a division or as a business entity, for us, when we talk about luxury and sustainability sometimes, don't go together hand in hand.
Coexist. Correct.
If you want to give somebody a very luxurious experience and then you say, save water and, do this and do that, it doesn't gel very well in the customer's mindset. I think what we have done really well in the last 45, 50 years, we have made sustainability as a part of our DNA. We don't just talk about responsible luxury. Everything that we're doing in our hotels, starting from water conservation to electricity, carbon neutral, everything, it is a part of the DNA. It is a part of our ecosystem ethos where when we're building a hotel, we first think about how do we make it sustainable.
Vikram, so on that note, I'm going to interject a bit. I'm just saying, absolutely agree with that. And I can vouch for that. I'm sorry I had to put you under the scanner.
I'm loving the point.
So I'm just saying, but however, my husband is an ex-ITC, 7 years of ITC, so I know very well that when there's an investment that they're making, whether it is in child education or girl education or planting forests, the heart is very much in the place that it should be. And it is one of the few corporates which actually genuinely cares about doing something, while the business stays the way it
probably
is.
they're the one brand which actually talks much less about what we are doing versus
Which is also a very
some of the other
important thing
brands
today.
which will do less but they'll talk more about it. So that's a very big difference between some of the other brands that we have seen.
No, absolutely. I think, this point is very valid. I'll move on to the next question. And since we're coming to, very naturally gravitating towards that, which is, I think a whole lot of brands today are accused of what we call purpose washing, There is another term called greenwashing, and there's also purpose washing, which is we throw around purpose, and talk about purpose in all our external facing communication with our customers or with our, on our media exposures and articles, etc., while real work is not being done. And do you think, what can really be a playbook that a brand could follow, where purpose starts to become just not that word that you use frequently? It is actually there. Is there a playbook? Is there some sort of a method to the madness? I think, Mihir, you wanted to,
Yeah, I'd go for it. I think what we have understood, I've worked in the industry for the last 10 or 12 years, and I've worked across Paytm, JioSaavn, and now UNiDAYS. I think the moment, I think the generation which we're now catering to is different than the generation which was before that. I think if you come to Gen Z or millennials were more, I could say, I would not like to use that word, they could be tamed or they could be given a perspective and they will go with it. But Gen Z are the ones which are born and brought up on internet. So the moment you diverge away from your purpose, the Gen Z will get to know it. And that's what we have seen also with Paytm also, because when I was at Paytm, the focus was to include financial inclusion was the main purpose of Paytm. And what we understood is why it picked up among the students was they could see that now they can easily pay online or pay digitally. And that's why the purpose and the value system became more prominent with the users, and it picked up very well. But if the brands now say, I want to do this thing, and in the end they don't value what they're saying, the consumer will get to know it. And they say, right, the Gen Z has zero BS towards BS. So they are pick it up and do
We
it.
generally say 0 ducks to give,
Yeah. So I think
I think everybody got that.
Yeah. So I think that's something which is changing, and brands still do it. I think when Spotify was launched in India, they came with a purpose of targeting the tier 1, but they understood that tier 2, tier 3 are also very important. So initially their app was only in English, but if you see now, they have even created a vernacular also portion in that. So we always speak English as a default language, but now if you want to consume music, you can even go vernacular. So this shows the purpose that they want to be in India, make music free, not free, but make music accessible. They launched in India at a price which was like at 129 rupees, which they don't do globally. So from a price sensitivity purpose also, the purpose was to get music to the next generation of people and make it at an affordable price, which the brands have now started doing it.
I think Vikram, yeah, you might want to add something to it where, uh, because I feel that while Mihir has responded to how or what we are doing at a certain level of business, but is there a playbook or is there some way that you create actual value? You know, Vivek spoke about bringing it to the core. That is what 2026 is going to be doing. You earlier spoke about how things are there at ITC, but is there a method to the madness? So somebody says, I'm starting a new brand, and I say that okay, I want to build purpose right into my business, or I just don't want to talk about it, I want to actually do something about it. Is there a way to it?
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, if a brand, it becomes one of the more, core of the business, when you have a very strong logic or a purpose or a aim that this is how my brand needs to be positioned in the market, and this is how my customer can connect with that sort of positioning that I'm creating for my brand. That is what will drive that value that you're talking about. And the purpose could be anything. I mean, for some brand, it could be about, creating, for us, it is about sustainability, but for somebody else, it could be something else also. But ultimately, and what he was talking about, Gen Zs today, they are very, very, rational. They don't have any loyalty with any brand as such. They will connect with the brand, they will stick to them. If they don't connect with that brand, either emotionally, culturally, or, sometimes it is also about budget, then they will probably just go away to a different brand also.
So I have a very interesting thing to share. I worked for this brand at one point of time in my career called The Body Shop. The Body Shop was a part of L'Oreal. L'Oreal had very different values and things the way we ran business, and The Body Shop was quite different. One of the few things that I really admired, and I'm so glad, although I didn't do it by design, but I worked with Body Shop, and interestingly, it has changed the way I look at so many things, is Anita Roddick, the founder of The Body Shop, when she started it, sustainability was really built into the brand, which is, she had a store where you had these large bottles, with the shower gel, the face cream and everything was in very large bottles. You were supposed to get your own bottle and take it. And now, UK, they have launched these stores back again. The other thing that was very, very interesting and such an amazing, stellar thought, they sourced one ingredient from only one place, one community. Today, what do we know? Garments are being made in China, something's being made in Vietnam, something's been... So the whole world is working on various things and polluting every part of, the planet. So for example, they use this ingredient called the shea butter. Shea butter is like a moisturizing thing, and it is used in a lot of it. There is a community in Africa, it's called the Tungtia community, and it is only comprising of about 200 women. Those 200 women produce the shea butter for the entire world's consumption of the Body Shop's whatever, whether it is in the moisturizer, in the conditioner or something. And since they did that, and they paid them a fair price, which is even more than what is available in the market. In the usual. So it is not about... that community over the last 60 years, since it has had a ready source of income, they are educated. The children are no longer the way they were. About 11 villages have grown from abject poverty to a certain status. See, this is what happens when you think about something. When you say, I'm going to source from this community, because this community is great at doing it, even if this is the price I'm going to pay. This is what I'm going to educate my consumer that when you buy a bottle of shea butter, you are educating somebody there. ये सिर्फ ये नहीं कि मतलब वो पेपर में लिखा हुआ कि when you give this 1 rupee, it goes towards शिक्षा. वो मतलब I'm sorry if I have borrowed a campaign from anybody.
I think Blue Tokai is one brand which I can think of in India which has done very similar thing where they have partnered with the farmers, local farmers for their coffee sourcing, and they've been doing it from day one. So they have a very small town where they source their coffees from, and they very...
See, ultimately, profit and purpose have to coexist, because the way the planet is going and the way the billionaires are going, I doubt that they have any interest in actually representing the planet. Okay, on that note, I would
Although I'll give one more example on this. So there's a company called 10 Trees.
Okay.
It's a global fashion brand. So what they do is the moment you buy a product, like a fashion clothing, they will plant 10 trees for that. It's minimum amount you have to spend.
Any kind of clothing.
Yeah, and they set a minimum amount, that much amount of money you have to spend, you get, and they plant those 10 trees, and then they give you a QR code or a tracking link from which you can see where that plant has been planted.
ये
from
तो
the-
ऐसे हो गया कि हमने वो अंडमान निकोबार में पेड़ काटे और यहाँ पे अरावली में लगा
But
दिए
कहीं तो लगा है.
इससे क्या फर्क पड़ने वाला है वो सुंदर बंस थे ये क्या है ये तो पता नहीं कौन से बंस हैं I don't know they're probably some other buns I'm sorry so I'm not yeah this is checkbox this is checkbox sure
So, today the playbook actually looks very simple, when we look at from a marketer's angle or from a consumer's angle as well. Today it's about bringing the purpose at the forefront, okay? There is validation that the consumers have the liberty to, right? I mean, today it's no longer about newspapers or what the TV had to say back then, right? So today it's consumers, reviews, forums, and so many of those options. Bringing the purpose at the forefront, having continuity and having a continued belief in that purpose and, bringing that out to the consumer, I think is the shortest playbook today. You see how brands are following this, we're coming at, we were discussing earlier, how we are coming from an age, where there used to be one TVC and, we used to create some edits out of it with the same communication out. Today, with the democratization of content also is bringing out that power to the brand that, you bring all those consumers where you have solved and served the purpose and bring them at your social media as well. And that's where you see, so much content that the brands are adopting by not just, making celebrities read out the scripts, but have influencers really taking their heart out. And whether they are influencers or consumers, at least pulling exactly how they got affected with that purpose that the brand was solving. And that comes right at the limelight of the brand's social media channels today, right? So with that is like, that I feel is the shortest playbooks that the brands usually implement.
sure I absolutely agree so just so that I know that all of you are here anybody can tell me how how much water does just one pair of jeans take to manufacture one pair of jeans, like one? How much water does it take? Jeans, denim. Any idea? Wild guess. No, more than that. Because denim, you have to wash quite 20 gallons is an average that you take to make one pair of jeans. So when you buy or you throw one pair of jeans and buy another, you know how much water is it consuming. Even one single shirt, which is a softened shirt, takes a significant amount of water. So I don't think, so nobody talks about this. The legal departments of most of these brands are bigger than the product development departments for the simple reason that they don't want the average consumer to know that this is what goes behind it. Well, on that sort of not so happy note, I want to move on to that to another question, which is the loyalty part of it. Can brands really, when they talk about purpose, now purpose, yeah, some people are, like you're saying, the Gen Zers now, look at purpose and, they're very, very clued into it that, okay, this brand has great purpose, so they might choose it over. Can purpose become something that could lead to brand stickiness, loyalty? Can it cause any consumer to like stay connected to you and continue? Because today is about fickle consumers. People keep changing brands. It becomes a relevant thing.
So I'll take it, Aradhika. So I think when we started this discussion, the purpose has moved to a very cornered way that is related to sustainability and welfare. But when we look at purpose for a brand, probably it is about why they started at the first place,
Sure.
So there are a lot of brands, as he said, ITC don't advertise what they do for social welfare or all. Similarly, if you look at Reliance, when they ventured into Geo, right, they made pricing so cheaper for everybody and data and everything, and how it has revolutionized the entire nation. You know, the digital inclusion, they never said we are making digital inclusion. But we see the result, how it has actually, the kind of competition it created. Everybody, next player has to come down to the pricing point of it. So a lot of times purpose has nothing to do with the sustainability or say like, welfare or anything that we are talking here. A lot of times it is more about the consumer's benefit. Are we fair to the consumer? Is the intent is right or not? So the purpose has gone to that level where brands are thinking louder. As he said, Gen Zs are very, critical of everything and they are evaluating everything. They're not loyal. So coming to the loyalty part of it, yes, if you are actually making change in somebody's life who you consider your consumer, and you stick to that thing, as a consistent how should I frame it? If you are giving that benefit to that end user consistently, they are going to stick with you. And I think, there are a lot of brands like Zerodha, they have been always very transparent about pricing. They pushed a lot of marketing towards the educational content for their platform. So I think the purpose behind building a brand is going down to a level where we have to be very aware if the audience, and when I say audience and consumer, it is not limited to the person who is spending money on your product or service. It is everybody, your stakeholders, your maybe investors, your employees. Everybody has to feel that, there is a purpose in being associated with you, that brand, and that brings loyalty definitely if it is consistent. So that is how I look at it.
No, I think you're absolutely right in that part also because, for every brand, like you're saying, the purpose could be very different. And ultimately, from a customer standpoint, either they are getting, either it's a price sensitive customer, so they will always look at maybe Reliance has given them the cheapest internet option, they will go with them. There could be people who are more value conscious, so they will try to see brands who are able to give them something more than just the price sort of sensitivity. And then there are people who are more experience driven or who are more, environment conscious. For them, it could be something else for which they will stick to the brand. The only thing is whether the customer will stick to that brand for a long term and, drive the repeat value, which is what loyalty should kind of do is. One, the brand should be able to charge a premium over a period of time. If you're sticking back to that client or that brand, then ideally I should be able to charge a premium to that customer over a period of time, which is where, you will actually see the value of that customer. If he's probably dropping off because of the price sensitivity, price increase at that time, then probably it was never about price or brand loyalty for that customer. It was always about price. So you have to try and get that customer in some way, move one level above from the price when it comes to loyalty. Loyalty should not be about price in my view. And that's where a lot of brands then just try to keep on doing a lot of deep discounting to try and get the customer back. But that is destroying their, overall life cycle of the customer that they're trying to create.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think just want to add here is that I think purpose, I don't see that as a competitor to price or convenience. For me, purpose is a facilitator because definitely if you come to Indian customer or global customer, price and especially in India, price and convenience comes first. But what purpose does is, for me, is that if someone is moving away from the brand, it slows down that process. If someone has to come back to that brand, it fastens the process. So it's more like not a competitor, but it helps increase the stickiness. I think what we say commonly across our marketing jargons is that price wins the transaction, but the purpose wins the relationship. So as of now, I'll give you another example. Like now I'm a Gen Z, I probably might not have the money to buy a product. I might go for a price or a convenience part, but the moment I start earning, I know I align with the purpose of this brand. So even though I might have to pay a premium to that brand, I will stick to that brand if I align with their values and the purpose. So I think that's how I see this.
Sure. So, having said that, we are marketeers. You're obsessed with something called ROI. you know, you know that measurement matters to us more. We keep on checking on metrics, we keep on measuring. How does one, so the topic is purpose beyond campaigns. So you can just do one campaign which is about purpose and then, get away with it in the whole year and say, oh yeah, we did this campaign. But how can it be actually measured if purpose is relevant or is very interconnected with business, good business? Because look, at the end of the day, if it's a business, it has to survive. There has to be, there's a bottom line, there's a top line, and you have to meet it. So what really can be the metrics, and how can we measure so that we have the right definition and the right perspective on it?
Now, when we're talking about measurement, there's a very critical aspect of measurement that we have to look at, which is for what time duration are we measuring? Okay, mostly, as the moment we go on to whiteboard discussions or go into boardroom discussions, ROI is equal to sales, right? But when we're looking at the entire life cycle of the product, from a launch till the time when we're looking at scale coming in there, usually short-term campaigns will result into a very less multiplier of the dollars invested. Typically speaking, various studies suggest various numbers, but on average, they say about a 1.5, 1.7x, when you look at a short-term ROI on a dollar spent on advertising. But with a purpose-based intent, I think the life cycle and the time period of that particular study has to be a little longer, when we look at an year, 2-year life cycle, which is where, all of those aspects of stickiness and, customer returning, CAC getting down, all of these aspects come into play. In that time period, you also build a good share of voice as well, with the kind of reviews that are available today by the consumers on the social media platforms. Then comes, share of voice and, your CAC percentages and, as in the rate of your customer acquisition cost, and, comes in the premium that Vikram was talking about, for the premium for the product. So today I may not be able to buy, say, a BMW, or maybe, when I was in my school days, I couldn't buy a BMW, but today is expensive, like way more expensive, and I can still afford a BMW, right? So that's the premium attached to the brand, when they continue with their ambition to sort of deliver that purpose and values that they promised earlier.
I would like to add here, I think probably a little on the social side of it, So when we think of ROI and returns on investment, I think, it is not always about the revenue side of it. It is also about the trust you build in the market, It is also about how credible you become and how the talent retention is in your company, because it is also about, they're also looking at you, whether you are purpose driven or not. Then I think the real ROI for any company is in the crisis situation. So something has happened, no matter what, it has happened, and you are not able to even manage it well. But if you have actually built that trust in the market, so in that crisis situation, if the audience or the consumer is giving you, benefit of doubt or not, so probably that is where I think, this
So Vivek,
matters.
yeah, so good. I mean, I think it's a perspective, but I would bring you back to that. No, it's you. If you're talking about a metric, if you're talking about measure, it has to be a tangible thing. Whether we did well, whether we did not do well, that is a brand equity. A lot of things add on to it. So, the reason that most brands want to do a purpose, like, look, some philanthropists, they're starting a brand and they're like, no, my brand is going to be doing social good. Unki baat nahi ho rahi. We're not talking about them. But there is a whole lot of businesses who want to just do purpose as an eyewash, right? We also have CSR activity. We are contributing to this, blah, blah, blah. Prime Minister, whatever, relief fund and all of that. But I'm just saying that even with them, if we are able to measure, especially the people who are not so keen on doing purpose or having purpose, if we are able to build in a metric which clearly shows that as you measure, that doing purpose or having a purpose, and working towards it with a brand is going to mean bigger business. Folks, there is one person already speaking. We can allow that person to speak. So then it becomes a game changer.
Right.
This is
So
what I'm saying. So it has to be something
I have-
tangible.
I have
No, we
another-
may not have the answers immediately.
No. I don't
but
have
I'm
to
just saying.
answer this, but probably I can share just an incident. So I think 3-4 days back, I was in Jaipur attending Jaipur Literature Festival, and while we were booking cab, my like go-to app is Uber. But my co-founder here, Pooja, is sitting here, and she prefers to book through Rapido. I always thought that Rapido is only for bikes, not for cars. But recently, I heard it from a lot of people. So when I asked Pooja why Rapido, why not Uber, so then she's shared why Rapido. So the purpose, when it is integrated in a product, that also affects your ROI. So if a Rapido has given, woman passenger safety features which are not available in others. If it is giving that freedom for a driver that he can take more money, or that there is some way he can earn more. So if the purpose is integrated in the fair pricing, or say the convenience for the parties involved, definitely it comes to that ROI part, the measurement part that you want to look in the revenue. So that is how I look at it.
Great point. I think you want to say something?
Just one point I will add to that. I mean, again, Rapido is a new company and they have started with this. And of course, this right now sounds like a purpose for them. Will they stick to this in the long run is probably what will define if it is a purpose or just a short-term gimmick for them. This is where a lot of brands again go wrong, that they use these purpose-driven, tactics just as a short-term gimmick to get some eyeball, which is where they go completely wrong in the long run.
Yeah, look at Uber's example.
Every brand who has done it, it has happened with them. Yeah.
So in keeping with, like, I think, the panel discussion word as such, I think we've abused and used it way too much. So I always associate it with a little bit more interesting and exciting thing. And, you all know about, which is the most common, which is KWK, Coffee with Karan. And I think what introduced to the Indian audience was the rapid fire, I think. So yeah, so this is a surprise element for today, and all four of you should be. Yeah. You guys can be scared to death, but I am still going to play it because for the So I don't worry. Sorry. Is there a hamper for us? There is absolutely a hamper. It has all the good things that are sitting outside for you to eat. It is entirely sponsored by me and Sanya. So. For sure. So, but it's pretty simple actually. I mean, don't worry. I'm not a tough taskmaster. So, top of your mind, any brands who are doing purpose very well, and please don't bring your brand in. There is enough marketing we all do. So, top of mind, any one brand that you can think of, which is getting this right, which is building purpose into their profits seamlessly and beautifully. You want to go?
Porter. I personally feel Porter has done a lot of good work, because I have never seen them promoting their brand at any front, and the kind of services there. So yeah, sorry.
Hamper chala jayega.
For me, it would be Blue Tokai. I think they were pretty good from the very beginning, and they've stick to that same.
Yeah,
purpose
one line
since,
reason.
that they're very true to
source from some-
the very local farmers, and they've
Okay.
been sticking to them from the very beginning.
Cool.
And I mean, they've
Yeah, I would say Acme Group. Very recently I got to know about them. They are on with sustainability, and the only brand that I actually resonate with, when they truly talk Acme. Okay, we all don't know about them. No, they are not the realities. They are basically solar company. They're a listed entity. They've just recently launched a protein brand as well, which is also under sustainability. And exactly what you build the guilt in all of us, how much water it takes to make a gene, but they are talking about how much water does it take to create protein, which is either paneer and various others. A truly sustainable brand, I would say.
Yeah, for me, it would be my past company called Paytm, because I feel that they brought financial. I'm not working with them anymore.
Anything he said led to a controversy. Just quickly choose something. Otherwise, I'll share a brand that I think. There's a brand called Fitter. FITTR.
Yeah.
That has been it's about 10 years, this guy, Jitendra Choksi. And I have been watching how he has built the brand and his personal passion. It is about getting everybody fit. The latest campaign where actually there is no fitter branding at all. And he's just talking. So the line that that stayed with me, कि धीरे धीरे fit हो रहा है India, because he has recognized the fact that we are trying. Now that we have recognized the problem, I think the first step towards a problem is recognizing and acknowledging that there's a problem. Solution to tabhi nikal. So yeah, look up that brand. I feel the purpose is built right into the brand, and
Another
I quite
example I
enjoy
can give, which is
looking
very
at their stuff.
similar, not for fitness, but maybe health, is something like the whole truth, which is telling you upfront,
Yeah, Shashank is a
clean food
is
and
an
also I think,
acquaintance.
food industry.
Did you manage to change, or you will stay with Mr. Shekhar Sharma's?
I'll stick with them, but I'll also one more. I'll add one more. So there's a thing, the company called Round Glass,
Okay.
which does, like, it's not promoting a lot in India as of now, but I think the purpose for them is pretty good. They want that Gen Z should be more toward mental stability. So they give sessions, they organize events where people can go and talk about the mental problem which they're facing.
No, no. So my objective towards it was only to make everybody, maybe some brands that are doing great work, we could all be aware of it, and we could possibly. So I think on that note, there is a rapid fire, or there's a quick question for the audience as well, again, which is, and you can do a poll, you can raise your hands. How many of you, if you know that the purpose of a brand, your decision making or choosing a brand is led by your knowing there's a great purpose behind that brand? Do you look at purpose? Do you choose a brand because of its purpose? Raise your hands. Okay, there are a few, very few people. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm so glad there are not many brands here. They said कि वो तो 5 ही हैं, उनको और क्यों डराना है, वो भी कम हो जाएंगे. So the rest of you, I'm imagining that when you choose a brand, you don't choose because there's a purpose behind it. You choose it for whether for price, promotion, whatever. You choose it for everything else. That's in our agency for sure. Because for me, okay, sure, please.
So what is the most common purpose by most brands in the world? Like, I'm talking globally. The most common purpose which nobody will ever be able to fulfill.
Most common purpose which nobody would ever be able to fulfill. Sustainability is something that is, planet is not being saved. The biggest mistake that God made was to make us. We are very good at killing ourselves. Nobody needs to. We are on our own destruction path, and everything is locked. If we need oxygen, we'll cut the trees. If we need water, we will pollute it. So we'll make sure that we will die. So, yeah. Okay, on that note, I think if just the last question, which is top thoughts and what do you think trends are going to be in this space? Anything that you are looking at, some interesting trends that are happening, and you want to talk about it, please go ahead. Otherwise, we wrap up this party.
Now, like when we say there's this fuel thing, data is new fuel. So I think this is going to be a very important thing in upcoming years. And consumers are going to watch how are we actually using data. Because a lot of people are going to be very conscious of sharing the data. Like I receive calls every day from so many bars and restaurants, and wherever we are going, we have to put our number, everything. So I actually go a lot of different places, so that's how it has come to my mind. So I think that is one part, and secondly, people are going to watch if the purpose is going to play a role in our decision making as a business leader or not. I personally feel because when yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll stick to the data privacy and everything.
Well, I think the trend is definitely the implications of AI, and how brands are utilizing AI. What I think it also comes with is a lot of responsibility. Today, with the democratization of content, I think, there is way too much intervening into people's privacy, which is whether it is influencers or brands. So I think we all need to learn how to use AI responsibly.
You guys are sitting together and looking at each other's sheets. Okay, yeah.
I believe that the role of influencers would be, again, very important in the coming few years. So I think responsible influencers, I think, should come in the picture.
Just to add to that, because he said responsible influencer, I think there is a term called de-influencing, which is also happening. And we spoke about it last time, but so that is also equally important. But I think from the topic perspective, I think from a brand perspective, they need to be more authentic now because customers have far more information about you. You can't fool them, like you used to do probably back in the days. So you have to be very, very clear about what you're saying, how you're saying it, and then also delivering on your promises that you're giving to the customers.
Absolutely. I think the only trend that I'm seeing is customers looking at brands that they can trust, and trust is not built by just saying that trust me. It has to be earned, and only the consumers can decide whether they trust or not. Mihir, on that note, by the way, you really got yourself into a trap. You are an influencer. You just won something for being the biggest influencer and all. So yeah, you better. I'm going to watch you how good an influence you are on all of us. Yeah. So on that note, if the audience has any questions, please shoot them, and I'm sure this eminent panel can happily navigate it. Anybody? Yes. Would you like a? I wish I could just throw it across. No, but then it would be a little purposeless. Why don't you introduce yourself so we can get a context as to where are you coming from when you say
Arjun, CEO of Runtime Solutions.
of Runtime Solutions. Okay. Hi Arjun, happy to meet you. Yeah, there is graded activism or graded engagement. Yeah, true. Bandwidth. So you're saying, so the distill that I'm getting is that everybody chooses their level of engagement and their level of expression. I want to share something because I did not at that point of time share this with you. There was a data point that was shared by Times of India almost about a year and a half back. And in fact, I have a cutting of it, which shows data that this generation, we keep talking about Gen Z, how evolved they are, how much they question everything, how aware they are and all of that. It showed data that the amount of fitness information they consume and how aware they are about fitness is 73% of Gen Zers are aware and very conversant with fitness. And then it showed data as to how many of them eat healthy. It was only 23 or 28%, something like that. So they have coined this term, which is this posturing. They will keep talking about something, doing something else. So let's not always believe everything that everybody is talking, which marketers always do, because हम भी काफी झूठ बोलते हैं, तो हमें पता है हमारे consumer भी काफी झूठ बोलते हैं. On that note, it's going to be a wrap. Anybody wants to add something? But thank you so much to the audience, and thank you so much to all four men who have had a great, I have had a great time. I hope you did too. Thank you so much. Can we take a picture with four of us? No, I wasn't seeking that permission. I was basically asking him.
Check. And on that note, of course, I would also request Zahara Kachwala once again to please come on stage to help us felicitate and honor these fantastic people who have led the conversation and held the bait in for so long and helped us engaging into this beautiful driven concept as well. So can we again make some noise for all of them, please? Thank you so much, panel, for doing the honors for us. Thank you.
Getting something. Your hampers are here. Very purposefully roasted everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's keep the cheer coming in. Thank you so much. Purpose in a pot.
That did not sound very.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for doing the honors for us. Thank you so much, sir. Pap photo miss हो गया. Thank you. Vikram sir, up next. Thank you so much. Last but not least, well, on that note, once again, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have all of you on board. You can take your seats. Please, a louder cheer. Come on. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, I would request the team to please clear the stage.